Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Rachel Turney, and this is Poetry in Brief. Poetry in Brief Poetry in Brief is a poetry community where we get together and share just a couple of poems. That's the brief part, and then have a short in conversation. So it's not just about our writing, it's about how we can support each other. Right now, I'm running the platform as invited poets, but I'm always open to expanding our community. So feel free to share my information with others. We're doing this event in partnership with a writers' party, kind of celebrating and getting together after AWP, and just enjoying some companionship and fun. I am coming to you today from Hokkaido, Japan, and my Wi-Fi has been dropping, so if I go away, I'm trying to come back again, and it seems like I've been able to come back so far. So hopefully that will be the case. Today, my invited poets are Jhané, Claire Evans, Nicholas Grooms, Chris Kads, and Heather Kays. And that is the order that we'll read in today, but I did want to start with a poem from one of my forthcoming books with Parlia Repress called Retired Wannabe Club Kid, which is kind of a chronicle of my 20 years as an international party girl. I'm retired now, but this is a poem from that collection. Until the music stops. We won't leave until the speakers burn, until my heart is slowed, until the rhythm doesn't move us anymore. I'll fly up in the air, carried by thermals. We won't leave until the night ends. We are fire, take off your mask. Nothing can control us. We are the queens of the night, the bonds of nature, our kinetic energy. I won't ever stop. I will spin forever, pulsar in the night. Give me a cadenza. I want to be the star, fermata in my movements. Don't let the music fade, like the smell of cut flowers, art on a sun-soaked wall. Thanks, friends. I'd like to open our reading with Jhané. Jhané is a fellow Parlier kid. She has a book coming out, I Should Have Known by the Way You Kissed Me. I've had the opportunity to read it, and I'm so excited for you all to read it this summer. It's wonderful, and I'm actually hoping that Jhané can talk a little bit about writing a book with somebody else, because this is a co-written piece, which I think is really interesting, so I'd like to hear more about that. She's also the EIC of Three Panels Press, and we do have time at the end of our reading for any EICs to share their open calls. So Jhané, we'll start with you.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here with everyone and see everyone. And I'm happy to share more at the end about writing or at the end of my time or however it works about writing with someone else. Um, but I will start with one of the poems from the co-written book, I Should Have Known by the Way You Kissed Me. It's a short one and it's called Mouth. Your mouth is a pool fit to swim in, though I gladly find myself drowning there. Your mouth is a dark cave that my tongue feels its way around until it bumps into yours. Your mouth is a gaping wound, and I am a hound licking it clean. Your mouth is a cathedral of beautiful stained glass, and I sing your praise in the chancel area I've made of your teeth. Your mouth is a piece of forbidden fruit that I find myself biting into, savoring the juices until I'm rendered incomprehensible. So that one's mouth. Thank you. Um, I will read A Night Just for Me, which is about a party and kind of like keeping with the theme. And this is from a previous book called Infinite Ways to Burn. The candles are all burned out. The faint smell of smoke lingers. The cake is all gone, save for outlines of yellow icing and the aftertaste of buttercream. The warm bodies of some of my favorite people have trickled out, leaving the room a little cooler, a little emptier like the liquor bottles. I can still feel my friend's Tito's vodka breath on my cheek as she hugged me and yelled over Rihanna's S&M. I love you, friend. I'm too tired to clean the shot glasses, lip prints on the rim. The only proof anyone was ever here. The party is over, and I'm just trying to hold on to the sense of special before I feel regular again. Thank you.
Well,
That's all.
that was perfect for our after party theme. Wonderful.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
my question for you is, and this will be my same question for everyone, what are you celebrating right now, in keeping with our after party theme? And then tell us a little bit about your book that's coming out this summer and about your work over at Three Panels.
Sure. So I'm celebrating my birthday all month long, all month long. My birthday was on the 11th of March. So I've been celebrating and doing different things all month long. Actually, tomorrow I'm gonna go ride a mechanical bull with friends, which I've never done before. So I'm really excited. Um, and as far as the questions, where can people find me and like about the book and stuff? So okay. So you can find me on Instagram. I kind of restarted my poetry page. It's at Quoted by Jhané, quoted by Jhane. Um, and so yeah, I'm kind of started that over. And I'm working on, as mentioned, the co-written book with Kay, who's a longtime friend of mine. We reconnected and kind of we write music and stuff together. And so we've been writing this book, and now we're done with that. And that process was very interesting. It's definitely my first time writing with someone. So kind of going through and like, not really necessarily going at my own pace or like making all the decisions myself, but consulting and talking about things and picking a title together and how should we order the book and what should the, sections be. So it was very much collaborative and a lot of like talking with one another, making decisions in tandem. But it was really fun and I enjoyed the experience. And then at Three Panels Press, we're almost closing our submissions, but there are a few days. So we are accepting submissions until the 23rd, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're accepting art, poetry, prose, and photography. The theme is Silver Thread. It has a lot to do with memory, aging, time, things of that nature. But we also love for people to put their own spin on things. So if you have anything that you want to submit, please reach out, submit. I think there may be a chat, and I can leave maybe the name of that and the email if anybody wants to reach out about that. But yeah, it's great. Thank you so much again for having me. I'm excited to hear others read and just to be here and to connect. So hopefully we'll follow each other and keep the conversation going.
Thank you so much. And Jhané, do you have a drop date on I Should Have Known by the Way You Kissed Me?
We do not have a drop date, but we are looking at summer, maybe like June, July, that area. So yeah,
Okay,
keep
that's what I
keep an
heard.
eye out.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed working with Andrew over at Parleyerie. I highly recommend that press. I don't know if he's still accepting submissions, but he does chapbooks, full length, fiction, poetry, and it's been awesome working with him. Our next reader is Claire Evans. Claire writes poetry and romance. I'm an erotic writer myself, so I've been particularly attracted to some of that work that she does. Her debut chapbook recently released with Arcana. Arcana, right? That's how I say that. Arcana or Arcana. Okay, that's what I was saying, and the internet told me I was wrong. So Arcana, great, perfect. Like the cards, right? Called Edging. That's really exciting. Okay, great. Claire, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. So because that is a little bit of a spoiler for what I'm celebrating right now, I do want to read a piece from Edging. It is super short. Most of the poems in Edging are, and so I want to start off with that. Constrictor. Here's the thing about having me wrapped around your finger. I'm a feather boa, but my muscles coil. So if you're going to work me up, don't forget to unwind my body. So that's Constrictor. That's kind of the vibe of edging in general. And I'll put the link in the chat for that as well. Arcana is also a great press, like if we're shouting out just presses in general. I absolutely love Arcana. They do open mics and stuff like that. And I think they have just closed a submission period, but I think they're going to be opening a new one again soon. Um, I also want to read. I actually wrote something for tonight. because I was really inspired by the after party theme and like what that kind of could mean and things like that. So I wrote this piece over the last couple of days that will probably go in like some future collection, hopefully. The before and after pill. I never much cared for parties. I prefer to dance in the light of your eyes on the floor of the bathroom, white tile beneath bare feet, and a smattering of makeup on the counter. I'm half dressed and you're all hunger, and the gin martinis we had for pregame make the sparks between our skin reach for each other until the pull plants itself amid the routine. Our buzz just careless enough to make time seem temporary. I've barely gotten my brand new bustier laced up, barely settled matching panties in place over my ass, and here you are putting all this prep work to ruin. I never much cared for parties. I prefer ashtrays in the aftermath when neon lights have all burned out and Dom Perignon ice has turned to crystal condensation. I'm a pair of heels dangling from tired feet in your lap, sweat soakened skin and languid muscles sprawled like a kitten under moonlight, chest heaving from breathless dance and curves exposed just enough to remind you of the nothing our meat already left behind once. I've stripped down to tipsy talking and the very last drops of my social battery, and here you are looking at me like we might as well have stayed in because you could have made a mess of me just fine all on your own. I never much cared for parties. I've taken pretty pills to get me up to spin shape and rubbed bring me back down lavender oil on my neck to ease the adrenaline rush. I'm back where I started in the cradle of your arms, as emboldened by the heat in your eyes as I ever was by the burn in the glass. I prefer the calm before the storm and the fallout from the friction. I never much cared for parties. I'd rather relish in their premeditation and perish by the payoff from playing peacock in public temptation. Thank y'all.
Wonderful, Claire, so sexy. And I liked your first poem a lot because it showed what you can do with brief poetry, which is actually a lot harder than I think it seems to really convey a message that's captivating in just a few words. And thanks for writing something special for this call.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us what you're celebrating.
Celebrating my debut chapbook. I'll put the link for that in the chat here in a second. This is what it looks like. That came out at the start of December. It is the very first thing that I've ever published. So Arcana took a huge chance on me. And so I'm so, so, so excited about that. You can find me on Instagram. A lot of my poetry is on Instagram. A lot of first drafts and partial stanzas and things like that at the Grammar Wench. If you are into the erotic writing, I also do short erotic fiction, like I call them smutty scenes, and that is through Substack. So that Substack is called Erotic Adjacent, and I'll put that in the chat as well.
Great, wonderful. And your chapbook came out with three others at the same time, and they're all just $10 each. And sometimes Arcana does like a sale and bundles them, so keep an eye out for that.
Yes, the bundle does. The bundle is cheaper, and the other three poets are amazing. I think I recognize maybe a couple of names. So we did like a little release party kind of thing on Zoom not that long ago. But yeah, it was their winter chapbook contest winners. So there are four of us, and we consider ourselves like a little poetry cohort. So I highly encourage you to check out those poets as well. Queer Hedonia, A Heretic Without a Home, and Where the Monarchs Never Die, I believe.
Great. Thank you, Claire. And you can put your Instagram handle because it's different from your name, so it's harder to find you on there without
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
And then any other information about how to get your book.
Thank you so much.
Our third reader is Nicholas Grooms. Nicholas has quite a lot going on. My mental state has a Midwest shape. I love that title. Haven't read it yet, but he's sending it to me. Strange things
This
with
is my
crying.
reminder, I guess.
Yeah.
This
And
is my
temporary
reminder. I completely forgot. I'm sorry.
And then Strange Things with Crying Heart with here's another reminder for you, Nicholas. That says sold out. I tried to add it to my cart, so if you could talk to Vaughn about that.
Vaughn, hey
I,
man, get that
I
back
was
up there. Hey,
I
if
was
you
gonna.
if you just message Vaughn, a lot of people have told me that they've gotten books after just messaging and asking him to make one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he'll do it for you. He's the man. So
And then you have something new coming out, Dumpster Fire and Ice, which I'm assuming is
yep,
going to
dumpster
be
fire.
political.
Yes, yes. It's a split book with another poet named Gabby Ortiz, who is fantastic and really had to talk me into doing a split project because I really don't like, not that I don't work well with others. I just kind of have to keep my interest every day. Like my poem today, I wrote today because I want it to be the mood I'm feeling that day. And just to let everybody know, March is like the worst month for me. I've had my father pass, my aunt pass, my best friend pass, all in March. So I'm a little glum, but this is awesome, and this kind of gets me out of that funk. So my after party poem will be about that.
Good, good. Nicholas, I have one more question for you. Are you in KC?
I was in Kansas. I'm now in Austin, Texas.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm from St. Louis. That's why I was asking. I saw your
Dope.
Kansas City hat. And okay,
All
Nicholas.
right. I don't really have a title for it, but I just wrote this one this morning, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for having me, by the way. All right. To me, the after party is defined by the exhale carving its way through the tepid silence of the empty room. It's seeing the knockout stars of a sucker punch and finding the ability to make them constellate into a bigger picture. It's sweeping the sawdust shards off those I've cut off into manageable piles that no longer feel like an endless range of mountains. It's how I celebrate the end of March as the Ides and I part, lips licked like the envelope sealed dead letters I've sent adrift. It's how I spread love wide, the blood tithe of a blunt mind with a motor mouth to match its endless grind. It's the teetering wound to scar ratio, finding more healing and less kneeling to this springtime blood loss of which I've grown accustomed to. It's moments like these where I accept that I can smile while grieving, finding positive meaning in times I'm actually not really sure how I'm feeling. My after party is not a brag and boast event to honor this host. It's a simple toast to the survival skills that keep lights on tomorrow's hope. On some days, I struggle to hang the streamers and self inflate these balloons, and more often than not, that celebration drifts into a gray scale pity party. But I can survive the worst while thriving on. Two unlikely hands I've held into this weld. I can carry the unsure burden of sadness inside and still mean it when the smile spreads wide. But every day, be it moments of grimace or grin, be it instances of sink or swim, whether it's an after party for the aftermath or an afterthought that no longer tasks, I vow to celebrate my own survival because that's what survivors do. After party is at my place. Be your own whimsy and bring your own blues.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I really like the take on the theme as well. And that's something I like about this community, is that everybody has a different take on what do this couple of words mean to you and your life right now. And you really showed a great example of that. What are we
Thank you.
celebrating? What are we celebrating,
I'm
Nicholas?
I'm
What are you celebrating?
celebrating this, getting out of bed, just enjoying time with my kids, time with my fellow poets. Like I get so scatterbrained in March, it's like the worst time for me, like I said. And I do things like Chris over here has a awesome thing she's putting together and asked me, "Hey, will you write some apple poems?" So I was like, "Awesome, I'll do that." And then I went and wrote like five tomato poems and was like, "Why was I thinking tomatoes?" So I'm grateful that she's like, "Hey, dummy, you can have a couple more days to get me poems." So things like that, like these people, Claire and I are gonna make a gangster rap album someday, I think. So I'm just celebrating community. I love this. I love doing this. Every day I get to do this, it puts a real smile on my face. So thank you for this opportunity. And Ryan, thank you for letting me slide into your spot this time.
Thank you so much. I thought of Nicholas right away because Ryan DeFrancesco couldn't make it. And I thought, ooh, what an exciting opportunity to get Nicholas in here. So that worked out really, really well for us all.
And with a lot of people that I love, like I read like almost everyone here.
What is the best way to support you right now?
I'm on Instagram and a few other things at Nicholas Grooms Raps. I'm trying to keep up with all of the places that are like getting to red state for me. So I'm not on TikTok anymore. I have some stuff on there, but Instagram's the place to find me. And then you can get my book at mostcrucial.bigcartel.com or cryingheartpress.bigcartel.com. Email that Vaughn guy and tell him you guys want more copies of that book if you want it. So thank you guys again for having me.
Thank you, Nicholas. Our next invited poet is Chris Kads. If you're active on Instagram, I'm sure you've seen her. She runs a monthly prompt series, which is a lot of work. I know because I recently joined her on this as a guest judge. And so she really puts her heart and soul and time into supporting the community. And that's one of the reasons why you stood out to me, Chris. She's also doing some workshops, which you can tell us about, and sharing her knowledge in partnership with a few other poets whose names you'll probably recognize as well. She just closed submissions for her anthology, and you can tell us more about when that'll be coming out, An Apple a Day. Chris.
Yeah, sure. This Saturday, I'm doing a workshop with Allison May Lee. We're going to be talking about getting your works ready for publication and different publishing avenues, self-publishing, indie publishing, and traditional publishing. And yeah, I just finished wrapping submissions for An Apple a Day, so that's really exciting. And then the poem that I brought to read, funny enough, Nicholas was just talking about tomatoes, and this poem is very tomato centered. So, yeah, I wrote this one when I went to Washington to visit my friend Brianna, and we went to a Pride festival. And so it bounces between that party and then the afterwards, where we were at her place making pasta with tomatoes. So, without further ado, this is Trip Away from the Sun City. I'm flimsy-fingered slicing tomatoes. They run from the knife, become swallowed by sink suds. The air here doesn't turn your skin saucy. When we walked to collect our little cherry pasta pebbles, it hugged our bodies instead, waved rainbow flags against the Roma-bricked buildings, flapped rosy festival tents like a promise. When you never travel, it becomes easy to grow used to the sun scald on your skin, used to your insides rotting, your heart becoming a tired red raisin. Isn't it funny how it only takes giggling with a friend over baptized tomatoes to unshrivel? How it only takes a day in a city that loves unabashedly to realize there's more beyond the chopping block? So that's that poem. I wrote it for an anthology similar to my own, but centered around tomatoes. It's called For the Love of Tomatoes. So fingers crossed it gets selected.
Great. I wrote one for that call too. Um, I love that. Again, such an interesting take on the theme after party, and here we are talking about cooking with some tomatoes and probably more than just tomatoes.
Right.
Okay, Chris, tell us what you're celebrating and how we can best support you right now, because you always have a lot going on.
Yes. So you can best support me right now on Instagram. I know a lot of you are already following me over there. It's Chris_Cads. Um, you can join my workshops if you'd like. And what I'm celebrating right now, I just got several poems accepted for the newest issue of the Canyon Voices Lit Mag. So I'm excited about that. And they're gonna have a launch party, so I'll get to go and read. So that's always fun. So that's what I'm celebrating right now in my life.
Great.
And this.
Wonderful.
I've enjoyed having this.
And definitely submit to Chris's prompt series on Instagram. You can read more about that, and then you can put your workshop information in the chat. Wonderful. Our final reader is Heather Kays, a fellow St. Louisan. That's where I'm from. That's where you are. Yeah. Okay. You also very busy. You have Pieces of Us, Leela's Letters. I might have pronounced that wrong. You can correct me. Myths in the Feed with Crying Heart Press. So you can go to Crying Heart Press and add a couple of books to your cart over there. Genomes and Lies, I think, is your newest with Cajun Mutt. And your Pushcart Prize nominee. Congratulations. That's a big deal. Great. Two-time, I think. Is that right? Two-time? And you also run a poetry community called The Alchemist. So I'd like to hear more about that as well. I'll turn it over to you, Heather.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. So thinking about after party really brought me back to my 20s when I would go to after parties. It's hard enough to convince me to go to the party, let alone an after party at this point. So I'm just going to rewind a little and read things that make me think of my 20s. This is called Instructions for Loving a Disaster. Let her burn, not like a candle, steady and safe, but like a star collapsing, a quiet violence folding in on itself. Bring wine, not water. Let it stain her mouth like blood on old letters never meant to be read. Don't ask for the story in the smoke or the ash. She speaks in ruins, in the silence between explosions, where the earth forgets how to hold itself. She is the shadow that doesn't soften with dawn, the crack in the mirror where the light dies. Hold her like a secret too dangerous to tell, too beautiful to keep. Love her like a wildfire, reckless, consuming, leaving only the shape of what once was and the ache of what can never be saved. And this is Last Night Again. If I say it was the last time enough times, maybe one of them will be true. I swear I'll put down the glass, walk away from the edge, stop chasing the fire that burns me whole. But the night calls with familiar voices, a siren song of smoke and shadows, and I'm drawn back to the place I promised myself I'd leave. Last night was the last night, I told myself, but the morning never listens. And one night folds into the next, and into the next, and into oblivion. Regret, shame, repeat. Regret, shame, repeat. Regret, shame, repeat. I wonder if I will ever be clean. I've stopped apologizing to myself because I know without changed behavior, it's just pretty lies and lip service. And here I am again in the wreckage of promises, counting ash instead of stars, waiting for the next last time. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Also a different take on after party and what it can mean. Yeah, great. Tell us what you're celebrating and how we can support you right now.
I really only got serious about reading poetry and submitting and getting things published in the past year and a half. So having two chapbooks out in the world feels like a very big deal to me. Um, this this is the one that I did with Crying Heart Press, Myths in the Feed, and this is the new one, Genomes and Lies. It's available on Amazon. So I'm celebrating the fact that my byline is on something other than a newspaper article. I used to be a reporter, but this is all very different and new to me and super exciting.
Well, you've had a lot of success, so it seems to be working.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It feels surreal, honestly, but just going to keep going. So if you want to add me on Instagram, which I would love, it is Heather_KAYS.
Wonderful, Heather. Maybe one day we'll meet. I need to get to St. Louis at some point again.
I would love that. Yeah.
Maybe we could, and I used to hang out in the South City, which seems to be where all the poetry things are happening these days. But I wasn't part of the poetry community then, so our paths could have crossed. Thank you, everybody, for celebrating our after party. I'm going to open the floor to any EICs who might be in the room who want to talk about any open calls. We heard from Jhané from Three Panels Press, but you have to hurry because your call closes soon. I want to say thank you to our listeners, to Zach, Abby, Michael, Alexandra, who coordinated all of this, and Timothy for being here and supporting our authors. Thanks so much. Our next event is April 11th. It's called The Loss, Poems About Grief. That will be on Saturday, April 11th at noon Central. That's when this event normally takes place. This was a special edition. It's going to be followed by Three Women, Three Books, which is a limited series I'm running for women identifying authors to release their books. That'll be right after the loss, April 11th. I'll be posting about that on my Instagram. I also have a book releasing next week, Record Player Life, the B-side with the Poetry Lighthouse on the 26th. And that's going to be noon Eastern. And you can sign up to come to that live if you're, on your lunch break or something available then. That would be great. You can put anything else you want us to know in the chat, and we'll take a look at that. Great. Oh, Alexandra says, Be About It Press has a 250-word open call right now. Great. Can you put the website in there for us? Wonderful. Thank you all so much for being here. This concludes the formal part. If you'd like to stay on and chat, you're welcome to. I'm going to stop the recording.